All right, good morning again, and good afternoon to all our attendees from around the world. Thank you for joining this Agile Assets webinar on Supercharge your reporting with visualizations for better decision making. My name is Nick Frank. I'm the senior producer at Agile Assets, and I'm going to be your host today. This presentation for the webinar was recorded earlier, but our speakers are here live, and they're going to be able to answer your questions before, during, and after the presentation. But before we get to that, we do have a few housekeeping items to get to. All our participants will be muted. We do have a high number of people attending this webinar, and we want to limit as much background noise and distractions as possible. We do very much value your time, so the presentation should last no longer than 45 minutes. We should have plenty of time at the end to answer any questions that you do have. Now, if you do have a question, please enter them into the Q&A panel that is different than the chat. It's a little easier for us to address any questions if you toss them in the Q&A channel where we have an opportunity to answer them. This webinar is being recorded. We will send a link to the session recording along with the presentation slides within this next week. And at the end of the webinar, a short survey is going to pop up. So please take a moment, fill it out, and help us as we continue to improve our webinar process going forward. You can also earn 1 hour of professional development credit or 1/10 of a continuing education unit for this webinar. If you attend the entire webinar, you'll automatically receive an email certificate for your credit. Now, before I introduce today's speakers, we do have a quick poll question to ask. And it is, how do you currently create asset management reports? Do you use spreadsheets? Do you use business intelligence systems? Do you create them in your asset management system or other? While you're all submitting your answers, I'll take a quick moment to introduce this presentation's speakers. Our main speaker today is Tyler Pauly. Tyler's work combines many areas of specialized expertise, including infrastructure, asset management, GIS mapping, and spatial analysis, and software development, with an emphasis on providing solutions that deliver robust data analysis and reporting. For 9 years, he has supported large transportation agencies in the US and worldwide, helping them to implement advanced asset management solutions to improve their decision-making and performance. As principal consultant at Agile Assets, he works to promote continuous innovation of Agile Asset solutions to meet agencies' evolving business needs. Welcome in, Tyler.
Hi there, everyone. Glad to be here today.
Our additional speaker today is Chris Newson. Chris is an asset management expert with more than 25 years of experience in conducting, managing, and analyzing asset condition surveys to improve roadway performance. He has led survey operations for large international consultancies and specialist data collectors. For many years, Chris was the pavement data lead at Highways England, where he was responsible for its pavement management system and the use of pavement data throughout the organization. Now, as senior consultant at Agile Assets, Chris works with agencies around the world to improve the performance of their transportation networks and deliver a higher return on infrastructure investments. Chris is going to join us at the end of the presentation, and he's also going to help answer some questions live Q&A. Tyler, Chris, we have the results of our poll. What do you think?
Yep, well, greetings from London. So yeah, not completely unexpected. You know, most people are sort of exporting data into spreadsheets to create the reports that they're using. Just under a third are using tools within their asset management system for the reporting. And there's a few of you out there using a standalone business intelligence system. So yeah, thank you for your responses. It's good information to set the stage for our presentation. And with that, I'll hand over to Tyler.
Today, I'm going to be discussing how you can supercharge your reporting with visualizations for better decision making. And this is going to be done using the advanced reporting features within the Agile Assets solution. For those of you not familiar with the Agile Assets products, this will be a great chance for you to learn more about the types of analysis and reporting that you may not yet be doing and that could help you advance your asset management strategies. If If you are already using an Agile Asset solution, today you can gain more insight into how you can create even more robust reports to tell a compelling story of your transportation network and drive better decisions. So for a quick overview of my presentation, first, I'm going to outline the impact of reporting on decision-making and why high-quality reporting is critical for any agency. I'll give you an overview of the types of reports you can use to support various types of decisions about your transportation network. Then I'm going to review and demonstrate some of the actions that you can take using the Agile Asset solution to balance high-level and detailed data analysis, drive strategic decisions, and ensure that relevant information is accessible to all levels within an agency. And of course, at the end of our session, we're going to have time for one more poll question before we move into our Q&A. As mentioned, you can post questions anytime to the Q&A panel, but please be sure to post to the Q&A and not to the chat. That way we can better address your questions. So high quality reports have a huge positive impact in helping you make well-informed decisions. This is going to help you maximize the use of your funds, create optimal work plans to apply the right treatments at the right time to get the most for your money, boost field productivity by assigning team members to projects in an efficient way, extend the life cycles of your infrastructure assets, improve your transportation network performance, and meet any regulatory requirements that your agency might have. So what are some types of reports that a typical agency might see? So at the top executive level, you might have KPI and forecast level reports. You can break these down by region, road type, contributed defects, etc. And then, of course, as mentioned in the previous slide, the reports that show you your compliance with any governmental regulations. The next level, you might have managers and strategy-based reports. These can include level of service or LOS outcomes of an extra investment in the network. So if I put X amount of dollars in, how much return on investment am I going to get? And on the flip side, if I reduce my budget, how is that going to affect the condition of my network? Or you can have a target level of service and analyze and find out how much money it'll take to get to that point. Then of course, taking all of those together, compare scenarios one-to-one to drive a better decision-making. Going down even further at the engineer level, you might have condition graphs and charts. That might be something like a graph down the road or a straight line diagram, a cross section of the construction at a road at a particular point, showing the materials, the construction dates, the thickness, of course, your condition over time. And then all the way to the operations level in the day-to-day management, you might have something like a plan versus actual report where you're going to be tracking your work order, your completions, and the costs associated with them. So what are some of the common questions that reporting can help answer? First, what is the condition of my asset network? With that, what are the problem areas and what are the main problems? What are driving those problem areas? How can I best allocate my funds to improve network performance? What is the highest level of service I can achieve for the available funds that I have? And then what is the best mix of projects to get the highest return on investment for my agency? So now I want to give you a quick overview of the Agile Asset solution. We've developed many products over the years, each suited to particular asset management need within a transportation agency. So these products support the entire lifecycle management of an asset from long-term planning to daily operations. You can see in this graphic that the products are divided into a few distinct categories. At the top in orange, we have our planning and analysis products. These help an agency to analyze their data, whether that's pavement distresses, bridge conditions, roadway crashes and incidents. Each of these products help you to create a long-term optimized work plan that's going to help you to efficiently allocate your available funds or help you meet a target level of service. Below that, in the dark blue, you'll find the products that help an agency manage assets at an operational level. So with these products, you can maintain an inventory of assets, assign and schedule work, track projects and spending, and maintain resources and track stockpiles of materials. And at the bottom of this graphic, you'll see the base functions that are included in all of our deployments. So these foundational items include a unified database that goes across all modules. It supports user management and security, configuration options to tweak the software to a unique need. On the right side, tied in with the base level modules is our API that allows for easy integration with third-party applications. And of course, the reason we're here today are reporting functions. So all the aspects of the solution that I'll be showing can use data from any component inside the system. So although today you might see pavement or bridge related data, know that these same features can be applied to maintenance operations, structures inspections, or any combination of the assets or the tools within the system that you might have. These reporting capabilities that I'll show you today are standard and available to all customers using a recent version of the Agile Assets platform. So now I just want to get into some detail on some of the powerful actions that you can use when building your reports. So taking a look at them one by one, our first action is display interactive dashboards. One of the most important actions you can take to improve decision making is to display these interactive dashboards. It's important for you to have all key performance metrics in a single place. Here you can combine reports, maps, any object that you need, all in a single source for all the data that's important to a specific set of stakeholders. So with these dashboards, you have the flexibility to configure the solution so that the charts can interact with one another through drill down and linking capabilities, which you'll see a little bit more of later on. You can tailor the data for a specific user, team, or role within your agency, and then assign the dashboards to a particular module, select them at the individual user level, or assign them to an entire security profile. So this flexibility lets you create and display multiple dashboards to meet the unique needs of each user or role. Then the user can quickly answer the key questions that help guide informed decisions about how to manage the asset network. As I alluded to before, these dashboards can be created by selecting and arranging objects in the form of tables, charts, embedded web pages, images, maps, and more. So it covers a wide range of objects that will allow you to put everything you need in that one spot in the dashboard. Our next action are drill down interactions. So you can easily manage high-level KPI data with more detailed insights within the same chart by using these drill down capabilities. So within any report you can create, you can enable the series within the chart to be clickable. This lets you dive deeper into that particular data point and find more information out about it. For instance, in the example below, we have a list of districts, and when I click on a particular district bar, it will drill down and show me all the counties within that district. It's just a simple example, but you can build out as many levels through the drill down as needed. This all works by passing a filter parameter from one level to the next. So here I click on a district name, and then it looks at my list of counties that share that district name. So this allows you to easily find, view, and extract information that previously would have required multiple reports. So a major advantage when you're telling the story of your network's performance to relevant stakeholders and decision makers is being able to create clean, easy to read charts with dynamic features. So in the Agile Asset solution, all of our reports are highly configurable, all the way from the chart type, the labels, the colors, margins, formatting, backgrounds. It's going to be any option you need to set to make your chart look the way that you want it. And that's all done because our charts use HTML5 capabilities and SVG graphics. So these are just vector-based graphics that maintain a clear resolution at different sizes, which relates to the next point, responsive design. So you can expand, resize, reposition each chart to match your specific needs. That's particularly important when you're assembling these dashboards and rearranging the objects within them. Whatever you do, it will adapt to the resolution or the orientation of your screen. And this includes on mobile devices. So in addition, you can use tooltips to show the data points or more information when you hover over the data chart, which you can see in that screenshot there. I'm hovering over a data point and it's showing me the exact figure. Or you can enable links that will take you to a different report, or of course, drill down further, as we saw in the previous slide. So you can also further interact with the report by using the dynamic filtering capabilities. You can define any report with one or more filterable fields and an interface to control these filters that's shown alongside the report, which is an example there. A district pick list is shown on the left. So you can apply these filters to any type of field as well. You can generate drop-down or pick list selections as shown there. You can use date and ranges, numerical operators, or any advanced combination of these. So when you're ready to design your report, you can configure all these features within a modern report designer window. The window is entirely web-based, so you don't need to download any software to your machine. You can drag and drop fields from the data source into the report and easily arrange them as needed. You can also create custom calculated fields from the data set, making data summarization and aggregation easy. So if you have a condition data set prior to building the report, you don't need to go through and average things out or add things together. You can do it all on the fly in the report designer. Within this, you can create tables, crosstabs, or any number of chart types. And I'll show you a preview of what all chart types are available once we get into the demonstration. And here you can also enable and use those filters that I had shown in the previous slide, or create global filters that permanently limit the data set. And that would be used in the case that you don't necessarily want a user to have the option to filter the data. You can just set it beforehand, and that is the data set that you're taking in. You can also apply countless styling and formatting configurations to make the chart look and operate exactly how you want it to. So the last action I want to mention can be just as important, but often overlooked, and that's the simple ability to get the report out of the system in a clean and usable format. So any report can include an export button that lets you download the report. The feature is included on individual objects within a dashboard as well. So with just a few clicks after logging into the system, you can access your KPIs and export the data to your machine. And that is done in the form of a download in your browser. You can export it to any number of formats, so CSV or Excel to retrieve data behind a table or crosstab, as well as taking charts or images, or maps out into a high quality PDF, JPEG, or directly to a PowerPoint or a Word document. So now that you have an idea of the actions you can take to improve your reporting, I'd like to go into the solution and actually demonstrate some of these actions. So let's imagine I'm a user of the Agile Assets Pavement Analyst product for pavement lifecycle management. Within the solution, I use roadway condition data to create optimized work plans and make the best decisions based off the current state of my network. One of the core questions I can answer with the solution is, what is the current condition of my pavement network? So let's expand on that question with two further report-oriented questions. First, how can I visualize my current pavement conditions by state, district, and county? And on top of that, how can I easily extract my reports from the system to show to my stakeholders? So what should our plan of attack be now that we know the actions are available to us? Well, first, let's build a single report that has drill down capabilities. That way we can see the state, district, and county data all in one place. Then let's add that report to a dashboard. That way it's easily accessible to users when they open the Pavement Analyst solution. And then last, we'll extract the data and images from that report. That way we can send it off to the boss with a few simple clicks. Okay, so next we want to move on to our demo portion of the webinar. And here I'm going to show you what we just discussed in the PowerPoint. We're going to build a drill down type chart that's going to add some interactivity to an existing dashboard we have. So first, let's take a look at that existing dashboard by logging into our demo environment. Once we log in, you can see my user was already in Pavement Analyst, so I'm in that module, and it displays an existing dashboard that we have. So the dashboard as is giving us a rundown of our pavement condition index, or PCI, across our entire network. So on the top left, we have a bar chart showing us the average PCI for our entire network within the state. On the bottom left, we have a spider chart, which is showing us that same PCI value. However, it's the average for each district. And then on the right side, we have a table that has a PCI as well as a few other measures of condition for each of our counties within the state. So our goal now is to actually open up the web designer and create a new report using that drill down action that's going to replace all this information that's taking up this entire screen in one chart. So let's do just that. So the first thing I need to do when I start building the report, of course, is to select the data that I want to report upon. And in this platform, we choose what's called a data domain. And I've created some sample ones for us here. So I'm going to choose this webinar pavement domain. And when I do so, it allows me to pick from a list of tables and fields within those tables that I want to add to this report. Right now, we just have this single table and then a series of fields within it, which include our administrative unit. So that's going to be the state level or district or county, the parent administrative unit that's associated with that. So a county falls within a district falls within a state. And then our fields that are going to describe our pavement conditions. So the PCI, which you saw before, which is a rolled up function that describes our pavement condition overall. And then some various other measures that include faulting, roughness, cracking, rutting, just all different ways to describe the condition of our pavement. So I'm going to choose to add this entire data set and press OK to get into the main report designer. So once I'm in the designer, you'll see an empty pane here to the right where we'll start building our chart. And on the left side is a list of our fields that are available to us from that data set that we just picked. So on the top, you'll see our field types, and then on the bottom are our measures. Fields are going to be things like your text fields or dates, while measures, as the name implies, are going to be your numerical fields. So the first thing I can do is actually choose the type of report I want to make. And that's done along the top bar here. This drop down where I can choose between a crosstab, a chart, and a table. One of the things I like to do first is to build a table just to get an idea of the data set that I'm looking at. And then from there, I'll take those same fields and start building a chart out of that. So I'm going to start by just dragging my administrative unit field into the empty pane here. And you can see it starts building a table for me. And inside of that column is a list of my counties. If I expanded the full data set, you'd also see state listed there, district. Again, it's just the area that our data is going to be associated with. And then from the measures, I'm going to drag in my PCI. So I'll have a list of all of my administrative units and their associated PCI. So a very simple table there, but we want to build an interactive chart. So let's switch to that chart type. And you can see now it's taken those same two fields and built a column type chart for me. Along my x-axis are my data series, which are a list of my admin units, and then it's charting those same PCI values along the y-axis. So when I hover over any of these data points, I can get that exact value. So this is a little messy. We have a lot of admin units along them. So what I want to do now is create a filter on the data set. That way we can only see the state level. And I'm going to do that by creating a filter on our field called the parent administrative unit. So I right click on that field, press create filter. Then on the right side of the screen, you'll notice that it added a filter for me to set up. So when I click on this drop down, I can choose from my parent admin units. So again, if I choose a district, it's only going to show me the counties within that district. If I choose state, it's going to show me a list of my districts. And if I choose none, it's at the top level of the hierarchy. It's just going to show me that state level. So I press apply. You can see it's done just that. So now I actually want to add all of my condition measures into this chart and see them side by side. So I'm going to actually drag in a few more measures from the bottom left into this columns portion on the top. So I'm going to add my faulting, cracking, rutting. That way we can get a better look at their pavement conditions across multiple performance measures. So I missed IRI there as well. So you can see right now we have an issue because the scale in each of these measures is different. So now what we can actually do is change our chart type to match this and get them all looking good in one chart together. So I'm going to hover over this gear icon, press chart types, and it's going to allow me to choose from a couple dozen different chart types here. So you can see we have column and bar, line and area, dual and multi-axis, some pie charts, a lot of different options depending on the data that you're looking at. What I want to choose is this multi-axis column chart. You can see behind that, now it's created multiple y-axes for me. That way I can see all of this data in one place. So on the left side, it's showing me my PCI scale. On the right side, my various other scales, faulting, cracking, rutting, IRI. So now we're looking at the state level, but of course, if we want to see our districts, we can go change our filter now for our parent admin unit to state. I press apply on the right side, and we can see all 7 of my districts shown. Similarly, if I want to see the county level, I'm going to choose a specific district. So I'll say District 7. I change the filter here, and all the counties within that district are shown. So hopefully now you can start to see how that drill down capability is going to be built. So for now, I'm going to change it back to none. So we're taking a look at the state level, at the top level, and we're going to save this report and add it to the dashboard where we can then enable those drill down actions. So I'm going to go over here to the save button, save my ad hoc view into the file system here, name it accordingly. So I'm going to say pavement condition drill down, save it as such. So now I'm going to go back to my home screen here and find my existing dashboard that we saw when I logged in to the Pavement Analyst. View my list of dashboards. And here I just have one already created, aptly named dashboard. I'm going to open up the dashboard designer so we can create or add our new chart to that. So when I open it, we'll see in the design view, those three charts and tables that we already saw. But on the left side is our list of available content that we can drag and drop into this dashboard and arrange as we see fit. So within this list, we should see my pavement condition drill down. So when I click on that and drag it in, it allows me to arrange it. So any of these objects I can resize, set them up how I want. I can even go up here to this eyeball button, click on that, and then take a preview of what that would look like full screen once I log in. So we've added the chart, but as of right now, we're just seeing the state level. So we need to actually enable that drill down functionality. To do so, we can right click on our object here and press properties. And this is going to allow us to do a few things. We can rename the report here. So we'll just say pavement conditions. We don't need the users to see the drill down part. But what we want to do now is go to this hyperlinks and enable chart hyperlinks. And that allows us to do a couple different things. We can update the page, which is what we're actually going to do. We could even use it to open up a new page, replace the dashboard entirely. There's a few options, but update page is where we're going to enable those drill down actions. So I do that. And then the last step is to map the parameters here. So if you recall back to the presentation, we can pass a parameter from a data series into another chart or into the chart itself, and that's how we enable these drill downs. So the two parameters I have available to me are my administrative unit and my measures. So I want to be able to click on an administrative unit and then get all of the administrative units below that. So here, I'm going to click the plus, and it asks me which dashlet is affected. So I want to have it affect itself. I want to drill down into the same report. So I'm going to choose pavement conditions. And then what filter is affected. I only added one filter when we designed the report, and that's the parent admin unit. So we want to select that, press OK. And now when I go into the preview mode, I should be able to click on these data series and drill into them by passing that admin unit parameter onward. So let me click here, click on state, and we'll see all the districts open up. If I press district 7, I should see, there we go, all the counties within district 7. Similarly, I can go back to the beginning, click again, and now let's say I want to see district 1. I can do so there, and we'll see the different list of counties. So all the information that was contained in these 3 charts is now basically available to us in this one drill down chart. So the last bit of our exercise was to make this data easily accessible. So all I need to do is right click, press properties again, and there's an option down here that says show export button. When I do so, we're going to see a little icon pop up here in the right corner of the report that enables a user to download that in their browser. So you can see the little file button. So I'm going to save this dashboard, overwrite it so I can get my changes in. And now when we go back to Pavement Analyst and I press the reload button, we should see those changes. So we have our new chart there. I have that same drill down functionality when I'm inside of the dashboard, inside of the module here. So let's say I need to send off to my boss all of my conditions in District 3, the counties in District 3. So I click on that. I can press this export button. I want to take this to a PDF. And you can see down the bottom left-hand side of my screen, I've got a download in the form of a PDF that has that chart. Nice and easy. So Within a few clicks of logging in, I can now, as a user, get the condition values for my pavement on any admin unit within my system. So now I'm going to go ahead and jump back into the PowerPoint for a moment. Okay, and with that, just to recap, high quality reports can have a huge positive impact in helping you make well-informed decisions. Using the advanced reports, you can answer the key questions to help you maximize use of your funds, create optimal work plans that, again, apply the right treatments at the right time to get the most for your money, boost field productivity by assigning team members to projects in an efficient way, extend the life cycles of your assets across your network, improve transportation network performance and conditions, and meet those regulatory requirements. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Nick so we can take our second poll of the day. Thanks, everyone.
All right, great job, Tyler. We do have our second poll question of the day. Right, and there it is. It's what aspects of your reporting are you looking to improve? You do have the option to select a couple different ones. And while we're filling those out, we'll go ahead and take some of your questions, if you have any. Chris, how about we start with this one? Is can we include multiple dashboards in our system?
Yes, so the answer is yes. The flexibility of the system is that you can easily add extra menu items to the Agile Assets application. So some clients have like a key dashboard as the home page, and then they have a sort of an additional sort of menu drop-down item and add multiple dashboards into there. So yeah, the answer is you can have as many as you like.
Yeah, we have a question here. It says, how easy is it to extract the base data for the creation of the reports? So it's quite simple. If you're working on the Agile Assets platform, the database connection is already made for you. So in order to choose the data that you're going to be reporting on, you select the tables, the columns within those tables, basically flag them as a data domain, which you saw in the demonstration, and then those tables are available for you to report. So it's quite easy. You just need to basically know what data you want to report on and flag it to do so.
Okay, before we move on to any more questions, we've just got the results of the poll. So what aspects of your reporting you're looking to improve? Well, there's a fairly even mix throughout. We've got 64% of you want to visualize the data quickly in a dashboard. We've got 57% of you want the ability to drill down data to answer specific questions, and 52% of you want the ability to share reports with relevant stakeholders, and then there's a final 10% of other. So yeah, it's a sort of a fairly even mix of what people want out of a reporting tool. So yeah, that's good to see. So I'll just move on to another question we've got. So are there any limits on what we can report? So as we saw in the demonstration, I think it's over 30 different chart types. So really the only limit is what is your source data in the system? And that's obviously the results of any analyses as well as any condition data, and basically your imagination. The flexibility of the reporting tool is there, that you can click and drag and drop, resize everything, pick from the multiple chart types. So yeah, it is really up to you of what you want to do. I'll pass that over to Tyler for another question.
Sure. So I actually see this in the chat portion, so I'll read it out loud so everybody can see it. So it's, how does this work with CMS like SharePoint? Can you pull various data types such as XML or CSV from a SharePoint server? And the short answer is yes. You have the ability to connect to multiple data sources. So if you have those files available to you on a server, whether that's SharePoint, FTP, or something, you're able to import them and report alongside them with the existing database data source, which you saw today. Similarly, within the Agile Assets platform, you can also, if that data is being worked with in any type of consistent manner, you can import XML, CSV, Access, Excel, all of those source files that you might have sitting on your desktop or on a server somewhere. Those can also be loaded into the database, which provides further integration with Pavement Analyst or whatever product you're using.
Chris, I have one here for either you or Tyler, and it's, do you need to buy an add-on license for a reporting tool?
So the functionality of the tool is included as standard within your Agile Assets product. And I think, as Tyler was saying in the presentation, it's available in the sort of recent versions, and I think that's version 7.3 and above, so it's all included. We've got a few more that have come in on the quick Q&A.
Sure. So, so the first one here is it possible to create a report that compares 2 or more scenarios? In this sense, I'm assuming scenarios are going to be your analysis scenarios out of either pavement analyst or structures analyst. And the answer is yes. So that data goes into a table, and we make that easily accessible. So, that's actually one of the more common charts that you're going to create, which is, comparing the return on your investment or your level of service. But basically, you can create those reports to compare them, even create a dashboard with using some of those actions that you saw with the dynamic filtering, so you can select the analysis run that you had, select one or more, see them side by side. So there's a lot of capabilities that you can kind of build upon to get the most out of your scenario runs. Sure, so the next one is, can you view the underlying SQL that is used as a result of your configuration through the UI? So can you add specific SQL directly to the interface? So the second one specifically, yes, you can. So when you're building the data domains, you're able to, obviously, if you are versed in SQL, you can write custom SQL queries that are going to get the data directly from your database as such. To view the underlying SQL that's used as a result of your configuration through the UI, if you build a report, you're not actually able to retrieve the SQL after the fact, but that's simply because it's reporting based off of what you defined before. So in my simple one, I was just reporting based off of a SQL view, in which case you can extract the SQL or the query information from that. But no, if you build a report or somebody else does and you just want to see the underlying SQL, you'd have to go back to the data domain that's driving that to determine what the query actually is. Okay, sorry, we've got a few more questions here in the Q&A. Is it possible to create maps, or only charts, tables, and figures can be produced and visualized? So you are able to create maps. I think one of the screenshots within the PowerPoint showed one there. So there's a few different options to go about it. One of the easiest ways to do it is if your agency has an ArcGIS server, you can embed the maps that are created through ArcGIS Online or your specific ArcGIS server into the dashboard. And then there's also a series of other tools that are a little bit more advanced configuration-wise, but you can create these vector-based maps, or if you have the licensing to embed Google Maps. So there's a few different ways to go about it. Okay, so we've got a few flowing in here, so I'm going to try to answer them as they come up. So can the reports be saved so that they can be updated with new data on a regular basis? So the great thing with the reports that you're seeing is the data is live. So if the data on the underlying database changes, whatever you see on the dashboard or within a report that you generate is going to draw the most recent information from that database. So can you go back to historical dates and show the dashboard of that date? That would be done in the sense as with the previous question I mentioned. So if you enable those auditing tools within the Agile Assets platform, so that's you can keep temporality tables, which is basically going to tell you your data at a specific date and time, or you can keep a track of changes through our audit trail. That would allow you to basically create a date or a dashboard that has a date range selection. And it's not so much going back and looking at the dashboard at that time, but looking and generating the dashboard based on the data at that time. So in a roundabout way, yes.
Fantastic, thanks Tyler. We've got no open questions, so I don't know if anyone else has got any more questions they'd like to answer. If you do, please type away and we'll answer.
Chris, Tyler, anything else you want to add before we close it down for the day?
Yes, the only thing I was going to add was, obviously we've seen quite a simple demonstration of a dashboard here to sort of explain the functionality. As was indicated in one of the questions, you can create as many charts within the dashboard to show whatever you want, and you can compare and contrast different scenarios and stack data within your dashboard. So yeah, the only limit is your imagination in what you can do with this.
Yeah, no, I think that's well said. As Chris mentioned, today was kind of to give you a taste of what's possible, and I'm sure as you watch this, you can connect those dots to your same data and get an idea of what's capable out there. So you're not limited to one dashboard. It's a full, robust reporting tool. So whatever graphics, whatever tables, anything you need, doesn't even need to just go into a dashboard. You can generate them as ad hoc reports. You can build multiple dashboards. So there's a lot of capability there beyond what you just saw today.
And once again, a big thanks to Tyler Pauly, Chris Newson for putting today's webinar together, answering our questions. If you have any additional questions after, and you have some more things that you think of and just, in a few minutes and, you didn't think of it now, send us an email, info@agileassets.com. We'll answer as many as we can. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. Have a great rest of your day and be on the lookout for more Agile Assets webinars in the future.